Welcome. We're very excited to have you all here today. This is office hours for the School System Data Survey. So we're going to have a time to go over the SSDS, we lovingly refer to it as, and then we'll go over any questions that you have. So it's very simple. I'm Tisha Peters. I'm Project Unicorn's project manager with Innovate EDU, and I'll be a facilitator today. Project Unicorn, if you're new to our organization, is really an organization that's brought together this concept of data interoperability. So we're here to improve the data infrastructure and interoperability across K-12 education. We want to create a space, a community with education, K-12 districts, schools, state level folks, as well as ed tech folks, and really make that broader case for secure data interoperability by helping determine shared priorities, to work together in partnership with districts and vendors to understand the benefits, the need, and the demand side of interoperability, as well as the push side, so that education folks who are purchasing education tools are able to get the quality that they need, get tools that are interoperable and secure, and that the ed tech vendors understand that importance throughout the ecosystem. And if you haven't heard, interoperability, the fabulous buzzword of Project Unicorn, is really just the secure, seamless, controlled exchange of data between applications. So those of you just like me who have spent time in districts and classrooms, at schools, at state level, you know that sometimes our data systems don't talk to each other, the data doesn't flow well, and it really can have a hindering impact on teaching and learning and the data at the school, the district, the classroom level. And we want to make sure that we're empowering educators as well as technology organizations to be thinking about interoperability when they're creating tools, and then thinking about it as we bring tools into our districts. So that brings us then to the school system data survey. So every year we survey districts across the country to find out what's happening, what's the current state of school system data, what are the capabilities, what's the infrastructure look like, to really leverage that education data. And this survey provides really great feedback for us to be able to then make decisions and provide recommendations, resources, tools, and supports to policymakers, to ed tech solution folks, as well as school districts. Part of all of this is inviting folks like you, school districts, as well as ed tech vendors, to also sign our Project Unicorn Pledge. The pledge is very simple. It's a quick signal that you are committed to helping your schools grow with data interoperability. We've got a couple QR codes here if you want to jump in. I'm going to take a moment here and drop the survey link into the chat for everyone. And we're going to dive into the SSDS. So what is the survey? The School System Data Survey is in its 6th year, as I shared, and it is really our survey that's designed to help the education sector better understand school system capabilities, infrastructure needs, what's happening really on the ground in actual districts and schools at this point in time. We want to know what's happening for real on the ground in your district, in your schools, and by participating, you contribute to this national effort. So what it does is really looks at measuring the growth of data interoperability across K-12 education. We identify key resources, technical assistance that are needed by schools and districts, and then we advocate for stronger data privacy, security, and interoperability with the ed tech folks that we coordinate with. All of the findings, all of the details that come out in the survey then are aggregated into our annual State of the Sector report. And this report allows us to be able to share out what's really happening across the country, what are the pain points for districts and school systems, and where's growth happening. And just so you're aware, all of the responses are anonymous in any public reporting findings. We're not sharing your data specifically, but the aggregate of what's happening across the country. And I want to share too that the SSDS was developed in partnership, not just by Project Unicorn, but with our amazing partners in our steering committee, who include the Council of Chief State School Officers, the Council of Great City Schools, the Consortium for School Networking, Digital Promise, and our many other steering committee members. So they've been actively participating in refining the questions over the years, ensuring that we're providing the right questions and capturing the right information so that, again, we can provide great resources for you on the end of this. So there are 6 categories in the survey. So if you've clicked on the survey, you'll see that there are several sections. The first one is really just collecting background information about your district, and then these 6 sections are where we want to focus. So the first one is about data governance. What are your IT and data governance policies, your practices, any standards that you're using, anything that really is the foundational decision-making points for any data practices in the district that you're at. The procurement section is asking about how you're considering data interoperability and privacy as you're bringing tools and resources into your school, and then reevaluating tools, especially in this age, as a lot of maybe the tools that your district might be using are starting to integrate AI. What does that look like? Are you rehashing or reviewing or renegotiating with organizations as those things happen? The third section is leadership and vision. Is there a collective culture and vision and expectations around data interoperability and privacy? And we have found districts all across the board on this. Some districts are very refined, and there's a really strong culture of data privacy and data interoperability. And everyone is moving in the same direction. The oars on the ship are rowing in the same direction. And some districts are really starting out. There's not been a very well communicated process. And so sometimes you'll find districts that, there's tools coming in at different places. Sometimes you hear that referred to as shadow IT, where maybe me as a classroom teacher, I'm not maybe very familiar with what the expectations are. And so I hear about a free trial for a data tool, and I just sign up without consulting or having that consideration at the district level. So that's what that section is all about. The next section is about your technology and infrastructure landscape, just kind of understanding what your current state of affairs are in there. Implementation fidelity is accessing your ability to execute data interoperability. You can talk about it, but then are you able to make the data move in the way you need to, get the right data pieces to the right tools, to the right resources, and so forth when you want to do that. The final section then is the impact on the educational environment. So the big picture, right? We can have data interoperability all day, but if there's not really an impact on the school district becoming efficient and effective and really supporting the classroom, supporting the learner environment, then what's the purpose? So we want to make sure that you're thinking about connecting those dots between how is your data infrastructure supporting your learning environment. So lots of questions in the SSDS, but those are the strands of the tool. So I'm going to share a quick view for you if you've never opened the survey, and it is page by page. So if you don't fill out all the questions that are required on one page, you can't move to the next. So our team was so kind to develop this quick look. So we're going to take a little quick look, and I don't know anybody who can take the survey this fast, but this is what we're going to look at. So take a look with me. Can you all see this? Perfect. So you can see there are some questions that you'll need to do a little slider for. There's a little matrix scale. Lots of descriptions for you to make decisions on the question. And that's it. You're done in 3 to 5 seconds. No, not really. It should just take you about 15 minutes though. And we also have some opportunities. I did link the SSDS in the chat. I'll copy that again and post it once more for anybody who's joined later here. If you click on that link and come into the website, look at the SSDS page, We also have a document. So if you're not the only one involved in the decision making or have all the information, a lot of times this information is shared amongst team members in a district. So within that site on our website, we do have some resources available for you to download. So there's a PDF for you to view all the questions at once, since you have to answer the questions to advance to other pages. And then we also have a tool. So in the middle section, it says use this tool to prepare your survey. And that section provides you actually a shareable Google Doc so that you're able to share that, fill out your pieces, send it to someone else on your team, get all of the collective responses, and then take that to fill out the survey. So there's lots of resources available. If you look at it and you think, I'm not really the one to answer, the data governance or maybe the interoperability leadership component, that's available for you to go through. So why should you participate? We're inviting all school districts and school systems, so charter schools, private, public schools, et cetera, everybody to participate. And when you participate, we will reach out to you and provide you technical assistance. So we'll look at the feedback that you've provided. And with our 10 years of experience in working with Project Unicorn with data interoperability and the incredible members of our steering committee and technical advisory committees, we're able to provide technical assistance with resources, with details, with ideas for you to advance. Anything that you're having questions or concerns about, we can help support you on that. You'll also get early access to the State of the Sector report. I mentioned that as the final report that takes all the information from this survey. And we'll also have a briefing before the public release. So you'll be invited to that briefing. There's another opportunity. So each year we select several of the school districts or school systems that have reported, responded to the survey. We provide an opportunity to highlight your school or district's progress in that State of the Sector report. So you'll be lifted up and your information will be shared with everyone in our community, everyone who looks at the State of the Sector report as a story from the field. So that's an opportunity for you to get the word out about what you're doing and really grow that visibility. And then as a thank you, we'll send you a $15 gift card. So just a token of our appreciation for 15 minutes of your time.